I recently went out for some burgers, and on my way to the local burger shop, I was stopped by a man who told me something important, and these words that he spoke to me that night were able to shake me to my very core. I don't think I have actually properly recovered since then, and what he said was this. These words made me run. They had me run far, far away. I had to find myself after hearing this information. Also, I just bought heroin and I wanted to get out of it. Eventually, after months of meditation and cultivating my inner peace and heroin, I made my way home, a better man than I was when I left. And I watched the movie. Alright, before I start spewing loads of unintelligible shit at you, I want to make something very clear. I fucking love Code Geass. Lelouch of the Rebellion, that is. If you haven't seen Lelouch of the Rebellion, go watch it right now. I don't give a fuck if it's a weekday at 11:30 and you got school or work. Go fucking watch it right now. All this stuff I have written right here, it's just flowery, superfluous bullshit to convince people who haven't watched the goddamned anime to go watch it. So save yourself some fucking time and go watch it. If you've seen the show and want an answer on watching the movie, you can skip here, but please watch the rest of this video. I worked hard on that. The date is August 10th in the year 2010 of the imperial calendar. The Holy Britannian Empire had just declared war on Japan. The Far East Island nation held fast. What the fuck am I reading? Code Geass is a Japanese anime about two very close friends, Lelouch and Suzaku, who find themselves on different sides of a rebellion. Both of the friends have the same end goal of liberating Japan from its new racist tyrannical rule as step one of making the world a better place. Suzaku takes the noble route of trying to change the system from the inside by joining the military, while Lelouch takes over and starts running an entire fucking rebellion to take back Japan. Also, they go to high school together because anime. And while you may groan at the school aspect and the wacky hijinks that go on, that motherfucking cat, this is a fucking good thing, and I'll get into that. Just understand that my recap isn't even the full skeleton of the plot. Watching the first two episodes is able to introduce you to the world and its dynamics perfectly without being a boring fucking mess. The first episode is also able to perfectly introduce us to every character in Code Geass has their own personal motivations and set of skills. Even in the school fun times yes booby part, the cast has depth to their motivations, except for Rivel. What the fuck does that mean, though? Let me give you an example. Cordelia. Cordelia is a princess of the royal Britannian family and an antagonist of the series. Because she is royalty and wants Britannia to rule, she goes to Japan to stomp out the rebellion herself. But this is not the whole picture. Cordelia also wants Britannia to rule over, so the tragedy that separated her from her brother can't happen again with her sister Euphemia or anyone else. And I mean, sure, the supporting school cast motives seem more shallow than this, but being shallow compared to an ocean isn't saying much. While their motives aren't to the level of achieving world peace, the school characters give us perspectives as they're normal people inhabiting this world and still have motives. Except for Rivel. The school scenes aren't just cheap, easy filler like your mom, but instead are supposed to be a juxtaposition to the violent, tense, and very serious main stories. These school scenes are what the main characters, Lelouch and Suzaku, are willing to fight and die for because they feel the world should be as gentle as this school dynamic. If we got to a point in society where everyone's worries and fears are as shallow and inconsequential as high schoolers, then we've succeeded. I felt that I should get this point out of the way first because, oh, they're in high school is a real turnoff for me, almost as much as, don't worry, I'll be 18 next month. With an almost two-faced nature of everyone due to the multiple layers of motivations, deceit, lying, and all that fun stuff is in play. I always call Code Geass Death Note but good because if you look at it, Lelouch is really similar to Light Yagami. Both are teenagers with an almost erroneous sense of justice to cover up for their wrongdoing, but the difference lies in how they handle their covering up later in the story. Quick spoiler for Death Note, don't bother, it's not that good. Light just goes full-on batshit at the end of the series. He proves to himself and everyone around him that his sense of justice and doing the right thing was all in an act he put on to help fuel his inflated ego and god complex. He didn't really believe what he was doing was a right thing. Light was just convinced that he couldn't do the wrong thing, which is the downfall of his character. It's hard to invest yourself in someone who's so smart, yet never has to get past themselves as a hurdle. Lelouch, on the other hand, is very interesting. Trying to properly summarize Lelouch's character leads to a very long fucking video with a lot of spoilers, so I'll leave it at this. Unlike Light, who fights for justice with his ego fueling him, Lelouch fights for his sister with his hate towards his father fueling him. Lelouch knows he has to do wrong to get results. He knows he has to lie and cheat to get to where he needs to be, but instead of thinking he is an all-encompassing paragon of good, he accepts that he is evil at points. He accepts that every action he has affects who he is as a person and therefore grows throughout the series. But if we're talking about paragons of justice, we gotta talk about Suzaku Kugurugi. Kugurugi. Suzaku is a foil to Lelouch. Instead of someone who is willing to do anything to get an advantage and accept the consequences, Suzaku doesn't think the ends justify the means. Due to past experiences with emotionally charged moments, his trust is in systems and groups of people instead of the individual. Though this brings up as an issue of how one person can make a change in an ever-endless system of bureaucracy and racism. So he's able to argue his point by piloting a fucking robot. The way he wants to go through the system and make the changes he wants to see is characterized by how he can go into the battlefield and fucking kick everyone's ass, despite the huge disadvantage with the help of the system, which is Lloyd and Cecile. And taking on an army isn't some pussy shit in this show either. This is war, numbers, positionings, morals, fucking Chinese checkers all play a big part in this battle. Strategies, tactics, guerrilla warfare, all that stuff happens in the show and they make it fun. With big, oh fuck, no he didn't, moments being plentiful. This in tandem with complicated characters, interesting world building, and only one clear bad guy, it just works so well together. Everything about this show works like a well-oiled machine. Well, that is until... Well, I personally like it. It's hard to think that R2 is all that in a bag of chips. If I'm being honest, it's hard to call it just a bag of chips. It's not bad either, it's just not what the first season was. You get Lancelot, you get Lancelot, you get Lancelot, and you get a less cool version of your previous nightmare. It stops being about the battles and how interesting and diverse strategies by different people work against each other, and it just turns into, I am Britain man, Lelouch, you bad, I kill. Huh. Joke's on you, motherfucker! I have an ace up my sleeve. Oh no, I am kill. But now I, Britannian ace sleeve man, am here. Fuck! The characters and feel of the show are still there, it's just the action becomes something it's not. It just turns into poopy. It's poopy. It's fucking poopy. Though I have to admit, when Red Riding Hood murks a metric fuck ton of people on her own, I was hyped as shit. But all those subtleties and the way characters shifted around due to the way the plot progresses are just kinda told to you now. Like legit, there's just a fucking part where Lelouch blurts out, "We fight with the power of our hearts," after he sees two people who love each other for apparently the first time in his life. This is the actual spoiler part of the video, so if you haven't seen the show, go watch Lelouch of the Rebellion. There's actually recap movies that aren't as good, but they're shorter. So just get your baggie of popcorn and your Funimation account and just go fucking watch the show, dude. The ending to Lelouch of the Rebellion is as close to perfection as any fucking thing has ever gotten to. And this isn't my opinion, but this is a fucking fact. Every issue I have with R2 is made up for with the ending, because it's a culmination of everything. The entire show leads up to this exact fucking moment. In the constant barrage of media we're in now, with sequels and remakes being something par for the course, in a world of 600 episode long anime, 22 movie long series, and shows that don't even get a proper fucking conclusion so they can pave way for possible continuation, Code Geass's ending gives it fucking meaning. Lelouch's death doesn't have consequences. It is the fucking consequence and reward for everything he's done. His death is his own fucking magnum opus, while at the same time payment for all the sins he built up. At no point during the show's run did it turn into filler. Every episode's meaningful in one way or another in the growth of the plot and characters. I'm going to keep saying this, but the ending was built up from the start. At no point while we were watching the series did I think the writers didn't know what the fuck they were going for. The destination was clear from the start, which makes the journey unbelievably more enjoyable. I don't like how they left us hanging with the relationship developments of C2 and Lelouch, but as I watch those credits, I stopped caring because it's done. It's over with. It's satisfyingly ended, and I can appreciate that. Lelouch of the Resurrection is an unnecessary movie. Sequelizing the end of Lelouch of the Rebellion is like eating McDonald's after a full-course meal. It's not needed. Properly continuing the series is next to impossible because of what it implies, which is the ending, sacrifices, and the entire war was fucking meaningless. I mean, the only proper way in making a sequel movie would have it be a 2-hour-long epilogue of everyone just enjoying everlasting peace. And that's what I thought before going into the movie. Reviving Lelouch completely disrespects what he's done, which is why I'm really happy Colin and Suzaku called that fucking shit out in the movie. I complained before that C2 and Lelouch's relationship didn't really head anywhere in the grand scheme of things, but the most important part of the movie is This is about C2 and Lelouch. Basing the sequel to Code Geass after the ideas of regret is actually a pretty baller idea, but that's what this movie is, a cool idea. Lelouch of the Resurrection is more Code Geass, but that's it. I would actually go as far to say that this is Diet Code Geass. It has all the parts that make something Code Geass, but it doesn't bring anything new. Out of all the criticisms I have and the nitpicks I can make, it all boils down to the first line of this section. It's unnecessary. Near the end of this movie, it had a chance to wrap everything up, as though this was a last hurrah for Lelouch, but that hurrah came before. For as much as this movie adds, it still takes away from the ending of Rebellion. I would compare this movie to Star Wars or Halo books. Sure, they're there, they're canon, and I love both series to death. The issue is, I don't care enough to fucking read them because I'm only concerned with the main series and how that goes. If you got that itch for more Code Geass, by all means go get your movie ticket, but if you're still on the fence about the movie, it's not bad. If anything, I liked it, but at the same time, it's nothing to write home about. More of the same thing, even if we didn't want it. Lelouch of the Resurrection doesn't carry itself enough properly to justify its existence, but damn dude, if I didn't get all giddy when Lelouch used his Geass for another time. If fate finds it that you've got nothing better to do during a showtime, grab a ticket, but don't pull a me and actually travel to a theater to watch it playing. Listen dude, Endgame is still in theaters and you can watch that instead, and it's not going to matter. Ayo, all the music in this video was done by my friend Mare. You can find him in the description. If you watch this entire video, please tell me what you think. I don't think my editing was up to snuff in this, but I did make it in one day, so give me a break on that. Just tell me what you thought, and if you agree with me, if you've seen the movie. Thanks for watching, dude. Leave a like and subscribe if you want, or not. I don't really give a fuck. Have a good day.